Okay, while I'm unwinding and winding down, going back to bed. The most amazing weather. Fuck, I love this. Read a statute declaration, people. You can't pinpoint me to one area because I didn't grow up in just one area. If you get an understanding of my family dynamics, how I was raised with two full time working parents, where I'm born, where my mother's parents are from, where we grew up, where I went to school, where we spent summer holidays, where my mother moved to, where my dad moved to, you're going to see a person that's lived more of a life before I was 22 years of age than people have before they're 60. And that's a fact. It looks on paper to be bullshit. It's like, it's not. Like, we own land in the suburbs of Sydney, so I had, in a built up area of Sydney, we had acres of land. But none and pops from the inner city. And so, mum's cousin still lives in Leichhardt. So, growing up in so many different areas, which is why you cannot tie me to one area. And everyone keeps tying me to New England. Oh, don't worry. I wish I could say I was born and raised in New England because I think it's the most amazing area. My mother went there when I was 10. But I'm not. I went there for 6 years. So I've had the most amazing experiences in life through having city family members that moved from the city. Okay, they moved from the city to the suburbs, have more land. From coastal, city, Bowral, you name it, to mum going to New England, which was the best move that she ever did, to me going to high school in New England, to living between New England and Sydney, to being, shared custody because my parents divorced in the 80s and my dad had shared custody, to summer holidays being spent on the beach, to, probably was it about 2 or 3 weeks during the summer holidays, then mum started going to this is where it gets confusing because there's cousins that were adopted that become brothers. Okay, wow. So to mums, we say Uncle Raymond's at Lennox Head in Ballina, but Uncle Raymond's actually really cousin. So my pop's brother's son, Uncle Raymond Purdy, to Lennox Head, to spending summer holidays in Lennox Head and Ballina, to them being back on the Central Coast to where the holiday house was and Dad's parents are, and then Dad moved to Empire Bay, to then being in the suburbs where my family used to have land, to then going and seeing Big Nan Uncle Fred in Leichhardt, to, like, it is just not so easy to say. A good example is, okay, when we were growing up as kids, before Pitt Street was renovated, there used to be Cornelius Fur. Across the road from where Cornelius Fur was, I think it's called Cornelius Fur. It was just below Centrepoint Tower. Where Centrepoint Tower is, the old way it used to be, across the road from it was this little arcade, and above it was a place you could get fantastic lobster. I mean, like lobster, like full size lobster for like $25 in the early 90s. So Uncle Fred used to take us out for lobster lunch. That's back in the days when he was like a lifetime member for the Tattersalls. So you can't pinpoint me to one area because I didn't grow up a closed-minded person. I grew up very cultured. And that's it. Well, that's probably why I'm more right-wing conservative with a bit of artistic in me than I am a left-wing. That's because I grew up so outrageous around things. Like my mum went to the Lay Girls when she was 16. When Carlotta used to work for them. So I've done the opposite. My experience in New England I loved, and there's a part of me that sticks with that attitude. And there's another part of me that's just city attitude. City in New England, I hated the suburbs. Whoever said about the suburbs to me was like, I hate the fucking suburbs. Couldn't wait for Nan to move. Because Nan's from... technically, Nan's born in Wellington, New South Wales. And then moved to Leichhardt because her family are from Sydney. Well, I hate the suburbs. I hate suburbia with a passion. No. Coastal, New England, or city. I can't still look at suburbs to be such socialism, communism, all the same. Boring. After they got rid of all the acres of land and people with big houses and swimming pools and horse studs in the suburbs have become boring. Oh, hate the fucking suburbs with passion. Well, you literally cannot pinpoint me in one area. You have to do a timeline. Which is why I did this for immigration. I did a timeline. Because they were getting really confused to why they didn't keep in touch with people. It's because there's me living here at this period of time and me living here at this period of time. That's what got really annoyed when I requested some notes for the Freedom of Information Act. And some social support workers said that they were trying to make me out to be bullied in Tamworth. Was that right? Who said this? Because now I'm pissed off. And it was like watching their bullshit while I'm letting my tea brew. But they actually do like these little boxes, then drawing lines. I'm like, are you fucking mentally retarded? Like, are you fucking deadbeats in these organisations insane? You've got a box here trying to draw lines. The parents would do it. Like, it's like, listen, just ask me. You're literally drawing lines across a piece of paper with a circle into a square, and it's like, are you fucking mentally retarded? You losers that work in mental health with your little social support working shit. Are you insane? So I could have just told you. And if I was ever teased, it would be just normal teasing. That's banter. It wasn't something like what that Justin Pascoe, sort of guy. And when I'm reading through these notes, it was like, oh, I'm fucking had a gut for this shit. Because when I was young, we moved from Sydney, and we were like the cream of the crop, basically. Like, mum moved, like she bought a house and like a great big beautiful property in a really good area of New England. She owned that, and she owned a place in Sydney. She never sold Sydney. She should have rented it out. I don't know what. Anyway, she sold it because she wanted to cut ties. She just wanted to cut ties, basically. So she sold it, but she already owned the house in Tamworth before she didn't have to sell the house in Sydney for the house in Tamworth. And we had this beautiful big property, a massive, huge stable complex. Like, it started getting world known. So I was like king shit when I walked into, for example, my textiles and design class with Mrs. Inwood, because Mrs. Inwood's son and her daughter-in-law, Mrs. and Mr. Inwood, lived up the road from my mum's, and they were the most snobbiest people you'd ever met. I love the fucking guys in New England. You never met country women you never met anyone that could cook, man. Like, I still do this the same. I just made bread tonight thinking, oh, it's bread, how hard can it be? I didn't follow recipe. I do, okay, in my defense, I make flatbread. I was like, oh, fuck it. I want to make something, like I wanted to use Pellini and some honey, make it like a sweet Pellini. I probably could have done with less flour, more Pellini. Like I said in the last post, I've only ever used Pellini in the past as if you're doing chicken, it's beautiful. You do Pellini, okay, you season it, and you put that on a plate, and then you slice, you do your roast like beautiful, or your sauteed chicken in lemon with thyme, and you slice that up, and you put that over the Pellini, and then you do like garlic beans and prosciutto. Okay, you can tell that's a dish that I just go to. It's like that when I do, say, for an example, sweet potato with, so caramelize it, so roast in the oven, put a bit of butter in it, put some like brown sugar, like the sugar that you put on porridge, brown sugar, glaze it with some honey, and that's a real heavy winter dish because you want to do that with your lamb, and with your lamb you do honey, Greek yogurt, and mint, and then you baste it over the lamb, and you put that with your sweet potato. It's beautiful. That's another dish that I always do, like heavy dishes. And I wonder why I put on weight. Anyway, so I had this sort of lifestyle that when you tell people, they're like, oh, he says he grew up rich. I'm like, I just don't grow up rich. But because their lifestyle is so boring and it's extremely different to mine, it's very... Oh, man, I got to say it to be the truth. Mum hates it when I say this. It's like, but they grew up poor. They're almost like our cousins. So they would see a lifestyle that I had. They'd be like, oh, that can't be. How could you do that? I'm like, my dad was a builder, my mum was a paralegal. I'm sorry, I don't know what else you want me to say. Except for the simple fact is that my upbringing is based on the fact of having two working parents, two full-time working parents. If you want to have a lifestyle, then you've got to work, sweetheart. You can't be at home sitting on the pension. My mother wasn't. Like, you have to work. My parents work 7 days a week. If you want a lifestyle, then, like, my parents work 7 days a week. Okay, these women that have kids, pop them out, get housing commission, and live off welfare, and go, how come they've had this upbringing? Because you're on welfare, sweetheart. My mother's working 7 days a week. I never, and it goes back. This is the thing. My ex-partner, Gio, we had this discussion once, and he found it to be like, because your parents weren't home when you come home from school. Like, parents. By the time I finished school, got home off the school bus, rode my push bike down the road, got in the front door. It was at the latest 4:10. Got changed, and I worked horses. Okay, my mother's still not even halfway through her friggin' working day. Maybe bloody home from school. Like, my parents, they come home from school, and your parents, his parents were there when he came home from school. So he had this lifestyle of always having parents. I'm like, no. I didn't. We had house parties. Like, we had a pool party. Like, we had swimming pools and pool tables and games rooms and formal living rooms and family rooms, and we had parties. Like, okay, we're not in Sydney this weekend, it's summer, can we have a pool party? Sure. Billy Lee forgot her swimmers. It was so fucking hilarious. Billy Lee forgot her fucking swimmers, and Billy Lee Conroy was a massive, she was brilliant in barrel racing. Billy Lee Conroy. She forgot her swimmers, and Mum goes, "Oh, Billy, go into my bedroom and just get something out." That's what Mum. So I'm not lying. Billy Lee came out in Mum's little 80s sort of, nipple coverings and G-string. Tara Swain was there. You would have to remember it. Okay, everyone would remember it. And Billy Lee was like, "Oh God, Billy Lee." Billy Lee come and when she ran the swimming pool. Oh fuck! It was hilarious. God, that was good fun. But anyway, you'd never taste. You would never experience a mate. You can see why a lot of great chefs come from areas like that. Like, why the Powerhouse used to pump out amazing freaking chefs and awards. Like, oh my God, the produce, the food, it's amazing. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Excuse my language. But it's like, we went there and it was like, and I guess we had a different lifestyle to what some other people did because we lived in an affluent area on an affluent street and were involved in the horse industry. And if you can afford in the 90s to go off and spend $3,000 on a saddle, and you've got 3 saddles, because I had my Mount Ryan equipment, I had 3 saddles. So I had my Mount Ryan equipment saddle, I had my working saddle, and like I said, you just work the horse in, and my normal dressage saddle. So if you've got so there's $9,000 just for me in saddles, let alone the bridles. Let alone my crops, which were in my bedroom. One of them, Bub had a jeweler make top of it. Let alone the brow bands, let alone the hats, let alone the boots, let alone the gloves, let alone the crocheted handmade gloves that I can only wear once for one event at one show, and that were close to $100 for my Mount Ryan equipment English gentleman's turnout class. So if you've got the money that you can spend this, believe me, there's my mum there at the races. And there's one of my hacks. There's my grandfather riding his horse in Medowie, up near Newcastle, and so forth. When you're around people that have this amount of money as a disposable income, where it'd be you'd be going to a horse event, and a great example is we're in Walker. And Alan Martin's sister, Helen. She had a beautiful horse, and it was Mr. Martin's mother-in-law, I think it was, said no. That horse is it's temperament, it's schizo, the temperament. And his name was Mirrabooka Night Rider. And I've got a photo of him out. Mirrabooka Night Rider. His stable name was Kane. I jumped on him. He was just about under a 3-year-old. And he needed a lot of work. He'd been rounded up, broken in really badly, real badly, not handled, not quieted down. and he was rearing and side reining and pig rooting and, bolting like you wouldn't believe. But he had a good bloodline, and he was like, so I was like, I'll take him on like a consignment, like basically, I'll see, like in 3 months we'll give you. So I took him, put education into him, took him out to Tamworth Show, and he jammed me into a truck, reared up, bucked, pig rooted, went out and he won first place in his hacking class. He was a Galloway hack, won first place. It's like, so he would behave. You had to get out and work him, and then it was like someone put a firecracker underneath him. You get him to behave, and he was the most amazing gait on a horse he'd ever seen. Stunning. So he went out and he won his novice class, then he went out and won his open class, and then I think we even got champion with him, and so forth. Anyway, come a few months later, we're like, okay, we'll buy him, and Helen said, okay, 6,000. So this is the early 90s. This is real early 90s. And we're like, no, we put the work into him. So it was a negotiation back and forth. I think we came to negotiating about half that. But if you got the money that goes $6,000 for a 3-year-old horse back in the early 90s, and that's who you're around. Okay? And even my cousin, Christy, she goes, oh, when we were trail riding that time, and you jumped on Amanda's horse, you jumped on Destiny, and you gallop him up the pile of gravel because he kept pig rooting and bucking, and then Amanda throw you off the horse, and she's flogging you with a dressage whip. She had a little Carol Skitz attack, and then you've let the horses go. And Christy, she's there going, oh, fucking hilarious. We're only talking about stuff, mate. It was fucking hilarious. And Amanda's like, get the horse. It's like Christy's our lackey, like our strapper. She goes, oh, fine. I'll just go get your friggin', like 20,000, like these day and ages, like, $20,000, like horse would be worth value. Like back then, I think Carly was like 5,000 or something. So we're talking about early 90s. And so Christy's galloping up the road to get the horses. It's like, yeah. So when you're around people that have got, you look at some in the yarn, it's like, you see all those thoroughbreds there? The cheapest one's about 3,000. It's about 20 in the paddock. So when you live like that, and then you've got these idiots that are in organisations, and it's like, oh, he says he grew up rich. I'm like, I didn't say I grew up rich. You're interpreting my lifestyle as being rich because it's extremely different to yours. And then my mum, because mum's still the product of who she grew up around. At times it's like, oh God, mum. And Amanda and I are just snobs. My twin and I were just snobs. We were the product of great grandmother, which is Mary, great uncle, which is Leo Patrick Sayer in New England. Literally, so that we just adapted so well, being snobby little cunts to New England. And mum still sometimes is like, oh. We were so embarrassed. I'm gonna leave it there. We were so embarrassed. Well, should be. Everyone was talking about it. Mum went out with the guy that was paid to clean our horses' stables. I remember, man, it was in Armidale University. I went up to the powerhouse and I'm talking to Mrs. Dunn up the road about it because they're like, she goes, Mrs. Dunn, our daughter, Justin, I think your mum's going out with that guy that does the guy that's getting paid the work on the property. I'm like, Dave, I don't even know his last name because I don't care, because he was just a shit kicker. I have no idea who his last name. My mum went out with him for years. I'm like, I didn't even know anything about him. I don't want to know. He was the guy that was paid to pick up my horse's shit. Mum's embarrassing. So, I'm like, no. And this is how it went. Because they all knew that mum's second husband's not our father. They knew that it was the dropkick second husband that's living off Carol and Carol's first husband. My father. And this is exactly what happened. Mrs. Dunn was like, I know. I couldn't believe it. After she got rid of Mark Rackley, I'm like, I know. You think mum would learn her lesson. I understand that dad divorced her, because my dad's Mark Fleming. I understand that dad divorced her. Mum's never gone over that. So she rebounded and really badly went insane and ricocheted onto Mark Rackley, some deadbeat loser. This is the bitchiness that we're having around people in the area. And then we're like, oh, great. And I'll tell you what, we're down at Nemiga one time, and mum's like, he never buys me flowers. So I remember this so clearly. He put a Chinese container and he put flour in it and wrote S's. And Mum's like, oh, look how sweet. And we're all there, like literally, I'm there with the old owner of Nemica Hotel, and we're all looking going, the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like, literally, and what's his name? He's the father-in-law used to live up the road, had a big place just up the road. And we're like looking going, like, Mum's done it again. Like, she can't break this cycle of, since Dad divorced, like, going out with drop kicks. Like, literally, it's like, we're all, and Amanda was doing, because that's right, because Amanda was at Armidale University, then coming and working in the kitchen to pay for university studies. Overnight, and Amanda's in the kitchen, and I walk in the kitchen, I can't remember the ladies that were working with Moo in the kitchen, and we're all there going, what the fuck's your mum doing? Like, we're all like, I know. It was all, anyway, best cooks you're ever going to meet. So, yeah. No, I haven't made up those stories about, anyway. But me, it's like, no, I just didn't live there long. I travelled back and forth. I didn't live there long. I lived there for 6 years, went back home to Sydney, then went back for just under a year, and then again for a year. And just kept travelling back and forth, living between two places, living between Sydney and staying at Mum's. And I used to leave my car registered to my mum's house. You know, well, I wasn't going to register to places in Sydney I lived, and there's more BMWs in Tamworth than I see in Sydney. So I used to read it, like, literally you go there, it's not like JT Fossey's didn't have a shitload of, it's not like our neighbour around the corner didn't have BMW, Mercedes and Land Rovers, like, literally, you know, hey, Mum paid for education, like, Mum's, it's like, she whinges about us being snobs and so forth, it's like, you moved here. Like, there's a part of me that's a bit of, leftist, a little bit, but majority of it was just right-wing conservative. The artistic me is left, the rest of it's just like this arrogant, snobby prick who loves Bob Catter, who thinks he's the fucking best 80-year-old legend you're ever going to meet. Bob Catter's, yeah, top of the ranks for me. I think he's just a legend. I don't care that he doesn't believe in homosexuality. He won't even say the word. I'm like, I don't care. He's a legend. I'm gay. I don't give a shit. I still think he's the best legend that you're ever going to meet, Bob Catter. He's hilarious. So he's Lebanese background, like over 100 years ago, and someone called him Lebanese once, and he's like, I'll punch in the fucking face. Just because, like, you're funny. Because my dad's father wasn't born in Australia. That's why I look Lebanese. Or like Arabic. Because my dad's father wasn't. I was like, mate, this guy. So anyway, I was thinking that now while I'm waiting for my tea to brew. So, and winding down. Funny. Anyway. So to finish off, you've got to have an understanding of how we grew up, because we didn't grow up in one spot. We weren't, like, there's no, like, housing commission people seem to only live in one house. And they're in this sort of poor community, and all stay in this community, and their kids will go to school together, and there's nothing different. You've got to look at where all the family members of mine were and realise that we lived in between areas. So we may have been at home going to school, but then we were gone. And then gone here and gone there. So you have to look at the whole, and I'll try to get immigration to understand this. You have to actually look at my entire life to get an understanding of where I'm from. You're not going to pinpoint it. Because we're like, but you said that you went to school in New England. I'm like, I did. But then you're saying you went to school in the suburbs. I'm like, I did. Well, how? That seems a big far difference. I'm like, you need to understand that our family, the way, like, if you've got, and my mum hates me saying this, she goes, oh, you see, the way you say that, you sound, you know, because you're, okay, because mum said, he's a sport little brat. No, we weren't. We just had parents that worked. And we got given everything. Anyway, it's like this. I'm going to wind down and say that. This photo is taken in the park across the road from 43 Piper Street, Leichhardt. This lady here on the end is my great-grandmother holding my mother Carol. This lady here in the middle is my grandmother Lola. That's Lola, that's Mary, that's Carol. There's 3 generations of women. This here behind there, that's the viaducts. So when I was a kid, I literally used to climb those viaducts with my cousin Christy Childs. Okay, one of the best memories I've got. It's like, how were you guys in Leichhardt? It's like, Nan's house. And then how we use in competition. Okay? And then races. It's a whole... Our families worked hard and lived. I can really freaking get the shits in my mum's side. But, they've all worked and have had lives and lifestyles and experiences and, hey, I grew up going to theatre and art galleries. I was a little kid at the, what theatre was it? We saw, Christy, I'm sure she'll remember. We went and saw Mother Goose with Uncle Fred, but he got tanked first at the Tattleses in the city. Was it the Tattleses? He used to be like a life member there, that club in the city. He got absolutely tanked and he was drunk, and he started standing up in the chair and he said, "Mother Goose is laying golden footballs." So, yeah. Oh, by the way, you see this? Ever notice why I do that? Because milk doesn't taste good in plastic. I only like it in cartons. Can't stand in plastic. And the person who used to do this, my mum. We always had glass jugs to transfer the milk from the plastic container into the glass jugs in the fridge. And this used to cover the milk jugs. So if you actually knew sort of, like people's lifestyle, I didn't live an uncultured lifestyle. I didn't live some povo pleb like my cousins, So that's how I grew up. I don't know what I got dragged into with this diversity visa, but diversity, where do you want to start? Because I lived more of a life before I was 22 than I've met people do before the 60s. Because before I was 22, I travelled America. So diversity, where do you want to start? Do you want to be when we, Grant Biffin, Oliver Carey, myself, Natasha Seckham and Amanda was taking the Grant Biffin's amazing fucking olive farm. Grant Biffin's parents' yacht out to the ski gardens in Lake Keepit? Or the holidays at the beach, because we had the holiday house and we used to spend every weekend we did at the holiday house on the Central Coast in Long Beach? Or the diversity of us, like all the time we spent in the city, because Mum worked in the city as a paralegal, but is originally born in Darlinghurst, and when she was still when she was a kid before she started school, they were still living in Mansfield Street, Roselle. Nan's from Leichhardt, Pops from Balmain. Do you want to talk about that side of things and going to 43 Piper Street, Leichhardt to see my nan and at the park across the road climbing the viaducts with my cousins? How much diversity do you want? Because you have got someone that lived the most cultured, out there life with no blinkers. And I literally had some gay people and organisations think I was this sort of like closed-minded gay. I'm like, oh no, man. No, I grew up around gays. My mum went to Lady Girls when she was 16. Her grandmother and great uncle took her to King's Cross to go and see Lady Girls. And my growing up, Mum would be like, oh, let me tell you about Lady Girls. There was this performance. And so this drag queen would sing this song. There's always something there to remind me. Or this transsexual. There's always something there to remind me. And next minute she's pregnant. And then she comes back. Like she goes off stage, comes back. She goes, has the baby. Then the baby's crying, has to be fed. And at the end of it's this white transsexual. And then at the end of the show, she holds the baby up to everyone that's black. And she's white. It's this sort of big... So my mum's 16 going to this. So I lived a very open lifestyle. I'm just part conservative. Snob. With a bit of outrageous sort of artistic in me. Yeah. I'm a strict Roman Catholic schoolboy, so I don't know if that says it. So strict Roman Catholics were wild. So, everyone that went to school with, they were wild. My God. Okay, everyone from my class of Year 10 in 1995, us group that decided to go and stay at that backpackers in King's Cross when we were 16 at the oldest. My mum still thinks she doesn't remember letting me go. Well, who signed the consent form? Maybe I did. Anyway. Oh, Mum was at a horse show anyway, so I went. So we're all down in King's Cross, Dame, and we're going around the art galleries, the theatre. We went and saw the Sympathy Orchestra. Went to cabaret at Belvoir Theatre in Surrey Hills. We're chilling out, having cigarettes and coffee at the Elephant Bar and Grill on the corner of Devonshire Street and Crown Street because we could. Like, we were the rich kids. Like, literally, we were the little sort of brat pack. It was fantastic. I loved it. Every Wednesday afternoon was at Tamworth Arcade, the auditorium, getting mud cake and coffee from the Coffee Bean. Oh, fuck, how is Jane? I've got to contact her. She was a legend. Jane Hilton. Was it Hilton? No, hang on. Not Jane Hilton? Jane Hilton. Yeah. Her husband passed away years ago. She's lovely. I knew her as a teenager. When the same years ago, her mother used to own the Mud Box. So when you walk through the arcade, the Mud Box on the right-hand side, you keep walking, you get a coffee bean at the end. And the auditorium was the biggest sort of cafe that all us private school kids could hang out in. So as we hang out, talk about art, talk about things and so forth, and then hang around the shopping mall. Then we go off to after-school activities such as band practice, which some people have, Sympathy Orchestra practice, dance, theatre, acting classes. Oh, I loved it. I mean, we were that sort of, sort of people. And then let's move back home to Sydney. Yeah, so, yeah. And then I went back there, and then went back to Sydney, then back. You have to, like I tried to get America to understand for immigration, you can't focus on one area. It doesn't make any sense because you've got to realize that I'm born here, raised here, spent a lot of time here, lived most of my life in the city, went here for high school. You can't focus on an area. And then to say that I like to make out stuff to do with where I live, I'm like, man, I had some really good fucking friends. When I was up in mum's area, really good friends that are the type of friends that I hope I haven't upset them in the last 11 years. If I've upset any of them, they have to come and tell me. Because I'll tell you one thing, if I've upset anyone, they'll be like, oh, Justin, we didn't know. Like if someone actually says to me from New England, said, look up and talk it out with what, because it's been weird the last 11 years. If they ever come to me and say, oh, look, we didn't know, but we were told this and so forth, and there must have been some confusion, I'll be very apologetic because there's a lot of people that I really liked from New England and I just moved back home to Sydney and lost contact. That was great. I mean, right now, like if it was pouring rain, like at mum's, like literally we dive in the swimming pool. Like it's fucking steamy. Like it's raining, I'm diving in the fucking pool. Like it'd be like 2 o'clock in the morning. And because my bedroom was at the back of the house near where the pool table was and so forth, in the rumpus room. So you walk through like that to get to my bedroom at the back of the house. And you got the pool table, rumpus room, you've got to open the sort of sliding doors that go into where the entertainment area is. The swim pool's off that. I just literally dive in the pool. We swimming. Like that's nice. But I grew up in big houses. So anyway, but look, if anyone ever, if I find out that there's been so much miscommunication or wrong information, because there's the whole shit to do with the fucking Rackleys in the last 11 years. I'm like, man, I'm not related, and people who actually know me should know this. And the ones that, if someone actually says I didn't know or really I'm sorry or we were confused, I would, and if they're from New England, and if they knew me, I would be very apologetic. But I'm getting a lot of people that didn't know me that actually, because I can tell you how they didn't know me, the description doesn't match me. It matches like Daniel Rackley or Shane Childs. I'm like, the description of it, you don't know me. And I can tell you now because I've still got references. I've got references from New England. I've kept my references from New England because I was a teenager in New England. And my references show who I was as a teenager. So I've kept them. Because it shows who I actually was as a person as a teenager. And when I've got an organisation saying that I was something else, I'm like, oh, mate, that doesn't even match the references I've got. And I've got a reference from the mayor's brother, John Treloar. Literally got a reference from James Treloar's brother, John Treloar, that shows who I was as a person. And you're saying that's who I was? I was not that. Okay, so you must know the fucking Rackleys. So, anyway. No. All you got to do, I think the best thing for people is to stop stalking social media, stop going around in circles with stuff, and be face to face. Don't be gutless. I've never been. Christ, you can see me arguing with my family. Oh, people will see me argue with my mother in public. They'll be like, "Who's that lady Justin's arguing with?" Like, his mother. That's how they speak to each other. Yeah, like you'd think that's his girlfriend. It's like the way that you see. Like literally, I was modelling. I used to do modelling after school, so I was very popular. I was in the newspaper for modelling, and I did one modelling show. This is before. This is before I was in the newspaper. So before 1996, and I was modelling dryzer bones, acubas, and then underneath underwear. And I walked out on the catwalk and I cracked. So mum just finishes that at the office, right? So she's just going to see her son modelling. So she comes into the modelling and she sits in the front row. And I see mum. So I walked out on stage and I cracked the stop whip because it's part of Blau's Menswear. So I was modelling for Blau's Menswear. And then it was, what was the underwear shop that I was modelling for at the same time? So I did Blau's Menswear and I did another shop, and then it was Man to Man as well, which used to have Stussy King. And I see mum, so then the dryzer bone drops and I'm wearing underwear and just the Cuba Bobby, and I jump down off stage and I'm sitting on mum's lap. It's like, it's so embarrassed. And then I leave because everyone sees me leave with mum, but we've got different names, different surnames. So they didn't know that Carol was my mother. And ask mum. She go, oh, I was the talk of the town. I'm leaving with a toy boy. And it's like, they didn't know that was my son. It's like, that's my son. Like, so there you go. So people there in Tamworth didn't know that my mother was my mother and I was her son back then. That was funny. No, so that would have been before the modelling of 96. Because in 96, when I was modelling, I won competitions in it, and I was in the paper. And then 1999, I won competitions. And then I stopped because I got into corporate jobs. Yeah. Anyway. So, as I've said to immigration many times, you try to pinpoint me like as someone that is this sort of povo pleb that has just been only in one area with a sheltered life and blinkers. Well, I haven't. And you can't literally sort of pin me down to an area. All you can do is always live most of his life in the city. And that's all you can do. So you're trying to do diversity. Well, you're not going to... Yeah, like, we travelled the freaking country in competitions growing up. I mean, it was Sydney Royal, Sydney Nationals, Brisbane Royal, Brisbane National, Canberra. Man, I used to do Toowoomba. I didn't even do Toowoomba. Then we were home here, then we were holiday here, then we're going up to Ballina, we're going to the next head, then we're back on the Central Coast, we're back in Sydney, we're back in the city, we're here. Like, we just lived life everywhere. And that's just the way it was. And then travelling overseas. And Amanda was living in America. Then I travelled around America in January and February 2001 before I was even 22. So as someone that's travelled, yeah, more than what someone like Giovanni has done in his life, my ex-partner. So anyway, more than what some of my cousins have done. So I don't know what I got dragged into. I'm going to leave it there. So when I was trying to get immigration to understand that you're trying to pinpoint me to one area, it doesn't make any sense to me. Because I'm not literally from one spot. You can't tie me down to an area. You literally cannot anchor me down to one spot. It's not because I'm a nomad. It's because we weren't poor. It's literally we weren't poor, like basically. You know. So and that's the truth. It's like we had good income coming in. Mum had good income coming in. She got money in the divorce. So anyway, that's all. So if you actually looked at the photos on social media, if idiots actually read the statutory declaration that was given to Department of Foreign Affairs, to Apostle, and to oh god, my leg is killing. I'm playing my foot down here because my leg keeps spazzing, my right leg. if you actually read the Statute Declaration, look at where my family members are, look at the lifestyle I had growing up, look at where I've lived, and no one has. Like, I've had people go, I've introduced Justin to this. No, you didn't. And the simple fact is that, and I don't mean this to be rude to a person at all, because someone who actually said that is a friend of mine. I said, no, because did I introduce this person? I said, no, because I never knew you when I went here. An example of this is there's a restaurant in Surrey Hills that's been there for a very long time, and I used to go there even back in, so close, so if I was going to go sort of close, bring the time frame close to when I met this person in 2002, for an example. I used to go to this Turkish restaurant in the year 2000. I used to go up there, so when I worked in Parramatta, I used to be up here, but I was in Surrey Hills there back all the time growing up. So there's things where I've had people say, I introduced that to Justin. You didn't, because see, I'm from here, and I'm from here, and I'm from here, and I'm from here. It's the same when someone said, see, I opened my life up to you, like, when I opened Ed Long Beach up to you. I'm like, you didn't. We had holiday houses here. My grandparents' house is up the road in Bangalow Street, Ed Long Beach. You didn't open it up. I know this area from growing up here. And that's where these things, so it'd be like, so I literally had someone I was talking to the other day, I said, I opened Ed Long Beach up to you. I'm like, you didn't open Ed Long Beach up to me, mate. I remember when this was a fucking tin shed. Okay? My dad's at Empire Bay. My grandparents are there in Bangalow Street, at Long Beach. My auntie's there at Yamano, and we had the holiday house there, right there next to Anderson's boat shed there at Long Beach. So you didn't open this place up to me, mate. I grew up going here. Okay, I grew up going here. My parents grew up going here. This is where we spent our summers. Okay, my grandparents spent the summers here. You didn't open up to me. You've come here. Your family came here, and my family are originally from here. Your family came as immigrants. My family are original. Okay? My family are originally from all of these areas that I have laid out to immigration. So you didn't open this up to me. I was already living this lifestyle here before your family had even moved here. It's the same as people from Leichhardt. We're like, oh, because we're from here. It's like, you're not from here. My family's originally from here. How so? My grandmother grew up in 43 Piper Street, Leichhardt. My grandfather grew up in 90 Mansfield Street, Rozelle. My family's from here. You've moved into areas my family's from. My family moves and experiences life and diversity. Yours doesn't. Yours stays stale and the same. I have lived here, and had more of a life than you would ever experience because of my family. And predominantly most of it's because of my mum's family, really. But as a little kid, there is a photo of me and my twin sister. We're about 2 years of age, sitting in a boat at Edalong Beach out the front of Anderson's boat shed. That same spot, there's a photo of my dad, Mark Ian Fleming, and his younger sister, Linda, as little babies sitting in the same spot when they were kids. These are areas that we would normally leave Sydney and go to and spend our summer holidays there. So you didn't open Edalong Beach up to me. My family this is known to my family. This is mine, not you. This is my heritage and history. My heritage and history extends all around areas from the inner city to the suburbs to the coast to New England. My family extend all around these areas. You didn't open up to me. My family have a massive amount of culture and diversity. You don't. So I don't, and that's the thing. So, and when people make these bullshit up to me, I don't put up with it. It's like when they say, oh, I showed Justin this around Sydney. I'm like, you didn't show it to me. I fucking mum worked her entire life in the city for the Shoalbacks. Bloody heck. Diane and Ian Shoalback used to live in David Street, Clifton Gardens. We used to go to Mossman all the time. How did you show it to me? Because I never knew you when I was a little kid. I never knew you in the 80s. So you knew me in the 80s? No, you didn't. In the 80s, I'm going to Mossman. I'm going to, Clifton Gardens. So it's near Mossman. Well, it actually is Mossman. It's just down on the water mall. To David Street. To Ian. So you didn't show me any of this. You didn't show me any. Like these people that have just met through my life, it's like, you didn't fucking show me this. Summer holidays are spent here, and they're like, but we just thought you were from this area. I'm like, Mum owns a property there. We used to own a chunk of land in Sydney. Dad's here. You've got to look at the fact that I've lived a life that you were never capable of living. I mean, I look at people, it's like you could not fathom a lifestyle that I had because you think it's not real. It's like, okay, we owned horse studs in Sydney, 10 minutes from Parramatta. See how you could do that now? Of course you can't. Okay? But that's how we lived. And then mum moved to New England and dad moved to Empire Bay. And, grandparents and so forth were from the inner city suburbs of Sydney. Holidays were spent here. So you didn't open things up to me. I've lived this life already. You've come into my life and my world, and you're just from these areas that I have already experienced life around growing up. And that's the thing where all these idiots are getting it wrong in the last, I don't know, since this fucking immigration bullshit, really. I'm over it. Oh, the green card's cancelled. I'm never applying for it again. Literally. It's like, when I was at the US consulate, and the 15 Millister, I was like, but you're going to, when things get sorted out, you can apply again. I'm like, oh, no. No, I won't be, thanks. This is not me begging for, changing my Roman Catholic religion to Judaism, where you want me to knock on your door 3 times until you accept me in for Judaism. No. No, mate, I do it once. You've cost me enough money. No, I do it once. It doesn't work out the way I intended to the first time, I don't do it again. I've already done that once. Then I went for immigration 15 years ago. I won't be doing it again. Okay? That's done. So, there's the green card. Well, take that. There's my social security number. Take that. See ya. That's done. So I've lived a life where in America you'd be telling people and they just think it's bullshit. It's like, that's because you're boring. I can't mix with people that are just so working class. Because we didn't have to live like that. So, we didn't live like that. And it's not saying that, he's saying he grew up rich. I'm like, no, but everything I've said is the truth. Like, if you literally can't read a fucking document and you think I'm born and raised in one area, you're sadly mistaken. No, I literally had a guy on the phone to me who I met in 2011 who goes to me the other day. He said, I opened my life up to you at Long Beach. I'm like, oh, fuck. I wanted to say, fuck off, dickhead. You opened nothing to me, considering that before this, when this was just like a frigging shed, it was a fucking shed. We had the holiday house just down the road there near Anderson's boat shed. I remember when Anderson's boat shed blew up. Right? We were on holiday here almost every weekend. My grandparents were up the road there at Long Beach in Bengalo Street. So you fucking open Long Beach up to me, thanks, mate, because my family live here. And they live here, and they live here, and they live here. So don't give me your bullshit. I'm not going to friggin' pedal to your fucking crap. I opened this up. I showed Justin this. No, you didn't. But like the same shit when someone said about the Turkish restaurant in Surrey Hills. It's like, mate, I didn't know you in the year 2000 when I used to go to this restaurant. And I didn't know you in the 90s when we used to come down here. And Uncle Fred used to drink at the Bat and Ball Hotel. So did you know me when I was a teenager? No, you met me after August 2001 or 2002. Right, so you didn't know me in the 90s, so then how did you show me this? Because for you to show me this, you would have had to show me in the 90s, considering my great uncle used to drink at the Bat and Ball Hotel. And we were here, and we're up the road here. And we lived around our lifestyle was around these areas. So you didn't introduce it to me. I was already here. My footprint is already here from growing up. Like, I didn't live a sheltered life. Like, I lived a cultured, travelled, worldly life that people just don't want to accept. Okay? Jesus Christ. I'm not fucking Justin Pascoe. Like I've said to losers who gathered information from other people and projected onto me. It's like, I'm not Shane Childs. I'm not Daniel Rackley. I'm not Darren Taylor, and I'm not Justin Pascoe. And if you're a government worker, then read the statutory declaration that you were given that has supporting documents and wake up to yourself. Because the only reason I came back from America was to take you to court. Okay? And I'm always determined. I achieve everything I set out to achieve. Since 2001, I said I'm going to get a green card to the US. I got the green card. Did it work out? No. I'm going to do it again? No. I did it once. That's their loss, not mine. The bullshit that America showed me, I was just like, nah. I've come back from America going, You guys are pieces of dumb fucking losers that have no life. You're boring, pathetic alcoholics and cannabis smokers. I'm going to come back with nothing decent to say about American people or immigration. And that's what I'm going to stick with for the rest of my life. Because I'm not going to go through the green card process again. I've already done it. You showed me your worst side. And I'm going to sit back going, what a fucking pack of pieces of shit. Okay, now I've lost the green card. Like, what a fucking pack of deadbeat losers that behave like the scrubber, like some of the scrubber cousins I've got. What a fucking pack of losers, man. You know, I'm not going to take away any good experience from that because it wasn't a good experience. And the only thing I could say positive about America was I'm a city guy and America's got a lot of 24-hour cities. But the people, fucking deadbeats, man. You guys have got so many fucking issues. It's unbelievable. You are fucked. I won't be applying for a green card to the US again. I already did that 15 years ago. Okay? You see? So, when it means me being set out to take on government organisations, believe me, I will achieve it. Because I won't stop until I do achieve it. And then when that's dealt with, then I'll go back and start redoing stuff that I wanted to achieve in the past, like go back to my design studies or an art exhibition. But until I tick off what is more important for me to achieve right now, then I will stop everything else until I achieve what I need to achieve. Never been any different my entire life. Yeah, simple. So yeah, determined. I'm determined to fuck over some government organisations that I just look at them and think, fuck me dead, you grew up low socioeconomic, didn't you? And now you work for the government. If you were intelligent or you had any bit of creativity in you, you wouldn't be a government worker, would you?